Day 28, 2 sessions after this one, and then the revision. Hello, and welcome back. I'm Dr. Rivka Edery, author of Spatial Psy.D. Open your workbook to day 30 and read the instruction, because it is the only one of its kind in the entire book. Bring all 30 constellation maps to the table. What does the void consistently refuse to show? What geometry recurred? What changed between day 1 and today? 3 questions and 30 maps. Now, I want you to be realistic about what 30 maps actually is. It's not a tidy data set. It is a month of loose paper in your handwriting. Some of it rushed, some of it done at 11 p.m. at night, and some of it done on an evening when you did not want to be doing it at all. It is a large, unwieldy, emotionally loaded object. And if you walk into day 30 carrying it unprepared, one of 2 things happens. Either you drown in it. You spend 30 pages across a table, you look at them, and the sheer volume defeats you, and you skim, and you come away with an impression. Or worse, you read it warmly. You go looking for the story of your own progress. And you will find it, because 30 pages of anything will yield a story if you want one badly enough. And the story will be moving, and it will be about growth, and it will be almost entirely constructed by the person reading it. That is the wallpaper face, arriving on the last day, wearing the shape of your own journey. So today, we prepare the corpus, not to make day 30 easier, to make it possible. Look at the 3 questions carefully, because they're better than they appear, and they are asking for something very specific. What has the void consistently refused to show? What geometry recurred? What changed between day 1 and today? Now notice what is not in that list. It does not ask, what did you learn? It does not ask, how do you feel about the practice? It does not ask what it meant to you. Every one of those 3 questions is answered by counting the void, an absence across 2 registers, which you now know how to assess. Day 24, the 4 cells, countable. The geometry, a tally of pattern types and zones, countable. You already ran a version of this on day 20. And what changed? Information units. Day 1 versus day 29. You ran exactly this measurement on day 10, and it is the only proof of progress you've ever accepted. That is a mercy, and it is deliberate. Because the alternative, a final reflection that asks how you feel about it all, would produce 3 warm paragraphs that prove nothing. And you would put them in a drawer, and in a year, you would not be able to tell whether they were true. The book does not ask you how you feel on day 30. It asks you to count. Your job today is to make the counting possible. Let me be blunt about the failure mode, because it is the last one I have to warn you about, and it is the one you're least defended against. 30 pages will yield a story if you want one badly enough. And you will want one. Of course you will. You have given a month of your evenings to this. You want it to have been about something. You want an arc. So you will read your own log looking for the story of your growth, and you will find it beautifully, movingly, and largely constructed by the parts of your mind, of the person doing the reading. You will notice the entries that support the arc and pass lightly over the ones that do not. You will read your day 6 geometry sentence as touchingly naive and your day 26 as impressively precise, and the difference will feel like evidence when much of it is simply framing. That is the wallpaper face, arriving on the last day of the practicum, wearing the shape of your own journey. And it is the most seductive form it has ever taken, because this time the pattern you're constructing is about you and about a month of real work, and rejecting it will feel ungrateful. You've spent 28 days learning that a mind supplied with a subject organizes everything around it. On day 30, you will supply your own life as the subject. So the defense is the same as it has always been. Do not trust the reading. Take the measurement, count first, and let whatever story exists assemble itself out of numbers you did not choose in advance. And that requires preparation, because you cannot count 30 loose pages at midnight on a Sunday while feeling moved. So build 3 sheets tonight, not 30 pages, 3 sheets. That is the object you will bring to day 30, alongside the maps themselves. Sheet 1, the geometry tally. 1 row per session, 30 rows. 4 columns. Pattern type, dominant zone, isolate present or not, void location. That is it. 4 facts per session, and they are all things you already wrote down. You are not producing new data. You are extracting what is already scattered across 30 pages and putting it in one place where it can be counted. When it is done, you can answer question 2 in about 90 seconds. What geometry recurred? Count the column. Sheet 2, the void overlay. You did a version of this on day 20 with 20 maps. Do it now with all of them. 1 outline of your surface and every void region marked onto it. But with one addition, and it is the important one. Mark the neutral voids in one color and the question voids in another. Days 1 to 20 in one, days 21 to 30 in the other. Because that is exactly the distinction day 24 taught you. And it is the only way to answer question 1 properly. What has the void consistently refused to show across both registers, or only when nothing was asked of it? You will be able to see the answer physically on 1 page. Sheet 3, the score sheet. Every claim you have made, its window and its verdict, hit, miss, voided, or still open. You built most of this on day 25. Finish it. And note the rule, nothing left blank. A blank verdict is an open door, and you know by now what an open door does. So 1 rule for tonight, and it's going to be harder than it sounds. Extract, do not read. Here is what will happen. You will open the notebook on day 4 to pull its pattern type, and you will see your handwriting from a month ago. And something in the entry will be poignant. You will remember that evening and what was going on in your life and how uncertain you were. And you will stop and read it properly. And then day 9, and then day 13, which is the one where something died and you wrote it down. And it is now midnight, and you have not built any sheets, and you have read your own diary, and you feel enormously moved, and you've produced nothing. Tonight you are a clerk, not a reader. Open the page. Take the 4 facts, write them in the row, move on. That is not a coldness toward your own work. It is the same discipline as everything in this method. You separate the recording from the interpretation, and you do the recording first because interpretation contaminates recording and never the other way around. The reading happens on day 30, after the counting, not during it. And I will tell you what you get in exchange for the discipline. On day 30, when you do read those entries, and you will, properly, with time for it, you will be reading them alongside a tally that tells you what was actually true. You will read day 13 and be moved by it, and also know that the pattern which died there was 1 of 4 you killed, and that your log contains 11 satellites and 3 collapses, and that your void has been sitting in the same corner for 22 sessions and did not move when you asked it to. Feeling and measurement side by side, neither one contaminating the other. That is what a month of discipline buys you, and it is available on Sunday, and it is not available tonight.